Hey y'all, welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations, a podcast where I have intimate conversations with women of color on my couch. Today we will discuss women in male-dominated industries, men with huge egos for no reason, and give advice on pursuing your passion in what we call the Keep It Real corner. I'm your host, Jazmyn W., and I have a very special guest today. Her name is Kathleen, but you may know her as Chefleen. She's an entrepreneur, a Chopped champion, if you watch and love that show like I do, and a New York Times featured celebrity chef and star personality with the innate ability to create flavor where none existed before. You can follow her on Instagram at Chefleen. Her Facebook is facebook.com/Chefleen. And she also does virtual cooking classes. So check out her website for more information. And that's chefleen.com, Chefleen. Hey, Chefleen.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Of course, cross-country chat from couches.
I know. It is a cross-country chat, which, you know what, when you think about the quarantine, I got a little bummed out because I wanted to have in-person conversations. But this allows me to have conversations with people like you who don't live in LA.
Exactly. It is kind of like one of the pluses. You're connecting with people more farther away that you probably wouldn't before.
Yes. Okay, this is episode 3. I met you through our first guest our second guest on episode 2, Kiana, which is a mutual friend of ours. And she gave me feedback on the word colored because I'm using, Colored Couch Conversations is the name of this podcast. So I'd love to know what you think about the word colored.
So the word colored it's like very confusing, like when it comes to what to call us, right? Like, it's like, what do I call and when do I call? Mm-hmm. And especially even more confusing for me because I'm mixed. So it's like, it's just like kind of mind blowing. Like, what am I supposed to say? Mm-hmm. I don't really have anything against it because, we are colored, more colored than others in the world. Mm-hmm. I could understand why, it could be problematic maybe because we've been differentiated for so long because of the color of our skin. But I don't know. It's just confusing, right? I feel like you should use what's comfortable. We live in such a politically correct world. Like everything always has to be a certain way. Like, whatever. That's how I feel.
Yeah, whatever. I think it's whatever among us. I think it's like we're women of color, we're Black girls, like whatever among us. I don't know.
For sure. I definitely feel that. Like if I hear my white neighbor calling me colored, I would feel away for sure.
You might feel away about it.
But amongst us, yeah, for sure. I feel like we should call ourselves whatever we want.
Girl, I say whatever I want. Mm-hmm. So that's a part of me kind of repurposing the word. I was also telling Kiana that I say colorless sometimes. I'm like, girl, this colorless girl.
That is so funny. I want to start using that now. People will call me colorless amongst our group. So.
You definitely have color. You're light-skinned, but you're definitely still colorful. So I love if you're watching this or if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, you won't be able to see Kathleen's hair transformation. But if you're watching on YouTube, she said her hair is wet right now. It will expand. Isn't that such a beautiful thing? Okay, well, the quote of the day, we always start with the quote of the day from Inspiring Woman of Color. And I always have my guests pick this quote. And Kathleen chose this one. I am human. I am messy. I'm not trying to be an example. I am not trying to be perfect. I am not trying to say I have all the answers. I'm not trying to say I'm right. I am just trying to support what I believe in, trying to do some good in this world, trying to make some noise with my writing while also being myself, by Roxane Gay. I didn't even know who she was, but thank you so much for putting me on.
I found out about her when I read her book, Bad Feminist. And I don't read so much, but that book was very powerful to me. Like I read the whole thing through. I could probably read it again. I actually don't have it anymore, but I would buy it again. I read it in my mid-20s. So, it's a very transformative time when you're thinking about all kinds of different worlds. And she just really makes you feel like whatever you are, it's okay. And I feel like that is something that everyone needs to hear almost every single day because in a world that is constantly telling us that we are not enough, or we need to be doing this, or we need to be doing that. Like, that message literally needs to replay in your head all day, every day, because all we get is the opposite coming in.
That's so true, especially with social media. I consider myself a super secure person, but I've been on TikTok and I'm growing my following, and you just realize how like those comments just irk you.
Sear you and irk you, but at the same time you want them. Like, it literally, and I'm in the same boat as you, like building my Chefleen brand. So I mean, social media irks me for so many reasons, but you kind of have to play the game, because what is driving, if you want to have this media presence now. But the main one is that one of the main ones is there's people that are doing what I do with no education, and they have way more following than me. It's like, wait, you just told them how to burn something. Like, that's totally not the right word for that. And that goes for a lot of different things. Like, there's nutritionists and doctors and, you know, like with no formal training, but because they're talking in a bikini, like they get all this clout. It's like, what? That is a huge thing. And then also I would say I'm a pretty secure person too, but when you're going through and looking at people and seeing they have more of a following or more of whatever, it's hard sometimes to be like, what am I doing this for?
Do you have any tips for, like, a lot of times, especially if I go live on TikTok, people are like, I need advice on like being confident. That's like one of the very first things that people ask over and over. Do you have any tips for being a confident woman, or even like lessons from the book or things that you've learned over the years on trying to like continuously wake up every day and say, this is me and I'm good enough and, you know, I'm going to move forward?
I would say the main thing about being confident is like, it's a practice. Like, you literally have to do it, make an effort every single day. Like anything in life, you have to make an effort to do it, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I'm going to be confident and be confident. You have to tell yourself continuously. So, I mean, I do a lot of meditation that helps me. Also, surrounding yourself with positive, uplifting people. If someone is constantly, if you have a bad feeling every time you leave someone, or it feels like stressful to hang out with someone, you might not want to hang out with them. I don't care if you know them 5 minutes or 10 years. Like, you have to like serve yourself at all times, because that is how you are able to shine your light in the world. If you are taking care of yourself, you're able to do what you want in a confident manner. You're able to just help others in a better way. So yeah, surround yourself with good people and tell yourself every single day. And also have the knowledge behind whatever you're doing. Like, of course, it's easier to be confident if you read the book. If you have to give a speech and you haven't read the book, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Listen, Chefleen, Kathleen, I'm going to call you Chefleen, but girl, you're so sweet. We've hung out, but you just shaded all the girls who cook online and don't know what the hell they're talking about, because that is a real thing. Like, there is science behind cooking.
Yes. There is actual methods and methodologies, and I mean, it is to a certain way like an art form, and I think everyone can have their own way to go about it, but there are certain things that like you just can't tell people you can do or not.
What's one thing, okay, I'm sorry, I'm so interested in this. What's one thing that you've seen somebody do that's technically incorrect, or like you said, burning something? Like, I thought about the fact that I saw a friend the other day, and this is not somebody who cooks online, but you know, they're just cooking or whatever, and they threw garlic in their pan, and their garlic burned because they threw it in first. And that's something that I've learned not to do as a cook. So what's something small that you've seen somebody do that's like, oh, that's actually not right? You're like, people shouldn't do that.
My main thing, I would say, is the kind of garlic that people use sometimes, because people like to use the kind in a jar, but that stuff is like really, I'm sorry if you use it.
No, I don't. Okay. No, I use fresh garlic.
Okay, good. Because garlic has a property called allicin, and as soon as you start slicing or chopping or whatever, it starts releasing, and the whole taste of your garlic changes the longer that sits. And so everyone that buys the minced garlic in the can, and I literally don't want to shade, like, because everyone has their own taste and everything. Yeah. That is like one huge absolute no for me.
Mm. Y'all heard it first. I bought the minced garlic like one time. I actually didn't really like the flavor. I preferred the fresh garlic over.
That's exactly why, because it gets too strong, almost like green tasting. Because like the sulfurs and things are just like going crazy. I will say you can buy the already peeled garlic, as long as it's not like smashed or chopped or anything like that.
Okay. Well, we already learned something. We're 2 minutes in and we learning. Okay. Well, one thing I read online, or I actually saw it on Twitter. Roxane Gay actually got with Trevor Noah to discuss her efforts during the COVID-19 crisis. Like, she was asking people to DM her and she would send them $100, no questions asked, right?
Wow, I didn't even know this.
Yeah, I found that out on Twitter. So she actually, because of this, she got a shout out from Barack Obama. He was like, yeah, he said, Roxane Gay, appreciate what you're doing. I don't know don't quote me, because I'll say Barack Obama said, hey, appreciate you, Roxane. But anyway, he shouted her out. And I just had a question for you. What celeb would make you freak out if you got a shout out from them, or if they hired you as a private chef?
So probably Barack Obama would make me really excited, because I've worked for like several celebrities before. I've worked for Will Smith, I've worked for Woody Allen, I've worked for like athletes. But the thing you learn when you work for celebrities is literally they're the same. We constantly in our society are putting them higher than us for whatever reason, but they are just the same as us. Like there's nothing that makes them powerful or special. I mean, their work ethic is insane.
Right.
Like literally when I was working for Will Smith, he would just come up with like crazy ideas like out of nowhere and then like implement them. And the next week he'd be like, I want to do this. And then like literally next week it would be done. It's like, how did that happen so fast? But Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, like I would be so juiced to work for them or meet them or get a shout out from them, because like they're more than celebrities to me, because they have made such positive impact and change in the world. Like, and not just through art, like literally through doing things, like Michelle with her food initiative, and obviously Barack with so many other things. As opposed to like, and I'm not saying like other celebrities don't do things, but you know, most people like Will Smith because he's in movies, not because he's really changing the world, or he generally makes people happy, which is great. But people that are truly able to inspire and change, like make movements, are really powerful people to me.
And well, for me, I'm sure Michelle and Obama take vacations, but they're constantly moving towards change, and that's what continues to inspire me about them. Like they're always working towards their efforts for other people. So it's crazy.
And they still like maintain a sense of normalcy between their family. It's like, it's not like they're untouchable in that sense. They're very approachable. And I don't want to say they're not average, obviously, because they're always moving more than most of us. But they're still just like good, kind people. Like,
I haven't seen us invade those girls' privacy in a long time.
Yeah, I'm very proud of us, America. Look at us.
Look at us moving on with our lives and letting them mind their business.
Because there's so much of a disaster happening in the world. We don't have time.
Obama's real daughters. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting me on to Roxane Gay. I appreciated it. I was like, yes, another inspiring Black woman that I can purchase a book from. I promise I'm going to try to read it. I'm really good at purchasing books and not reading them.
Oh, so you have a nice little library in your house. It's like
a good one.
I've read.
A good one. Okay, well, the next segment of the podcast is called Random Questions. And these are just things that I'm curious about, random questions for you. And the first one is, what is the last meal you made just because that's where you were craving?
This is going to sound really insane, but grilled cheese. I make grilled cheese because I crave it all the time.
Insane to who, girl? Me and my husband love a grilled cheese.
I don't know, because people think I'm a chef. I want like some fancy stuff all the time, but grilled cheese hits the spot.
The buttery, crispy bread?
Yes. And then, you got to sprinkle a little salt on top when it's finished.
Girl,
that is the key.
I get real bougie with my grilled cheese. I'll put some spinach, some tomato in it, little garlic powder.
Yeah, and you can make it. I mean, I honestly, when I crave it, I just want the cheese and bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. You can put like, if you have bacon, if you have tomato is good too, because the acidity kind of cuts that fat. I really think that's like every time I'm craving something, that's what I crave, which is, I feel like it's so basic.
It's basic, but it's good. Do you use any like special bread, or do you like white or wheat or?
This is a funny story. I don't eat bread. Well, I hadn't been eating bread for like, I don't know, 7 years, but now I kind of started back.
Okay, why didn't you eat bread, girl?
So I thought, this whole gluten thing, right?
Yes.
Started. So when I was 23, I actually had a bald spot that was like this big in the middle of my head, like right here.
Yeah.
And that was very concerning me. So I went to all these doctors. Doctors were like, it's stress. I was like, what? That is not stress. Like, I'm 23. I just got a job at Will Smith's house. Like, I am not stressed out. I am living out.
Okay.
So one of my friends suggested that I stop eating gluten or bread. And so I did. And after like a week, I woke up and I felt like I had woke up after like being asleep for 6 months. Like I had so much energy, and then my hair actually started growing back too. It took a while, but it started growing back. Thank God, because I used to say, people are like, "Oh, it's not that bad." I'm like, "What? My hair is everything. I am not NDRE. I am my hair. Like, I need this hair."
Girl, I'm so cute with this hair. You don't understand.
I mean, 23, I was super vain too. But anyway,
Yeah.
so anyway, I stopped eating bread and all carbs, like, well, not carbs, but all bread and gluten, like very strictly. I like, if even when I was making something at a house or something, I would taste it and spit it out. I was very strict about it. And I felt better and I was feeling good. And then, I don't know, I moved to New York and I kind of just gave up on all my rules of life, happy hour, all kinds of things. And so I started eating it again, but it does hurt. Like, it does hurt my stomach. I think it does. I don't think I'm like super allergic, but I do think I'm sensitive to it. Like, I think, and it is true. There's another book called Grain Brain. That's amazing. And it tells you all the effects. And this happens to everyone. It just might not happen as severely to you. The effects that gluten and wheat has on your body. Like, it basically breaks down the sugar. It can cause inflammation. It can actually, it's starting to be linked to Alzheimer's. So in general, it's not great for us, especially because of the way it's processed in America. Because like when I've been in other countries and I eat bread processed there, like the effects aren't the same. But I say all that to say, I have some frozen wheat bread from when I was making some clients' dinners. And so that's what I've been using for my grilled cheese.
Wow. I know every time I eat a piece of bread, I think of it as a sweet. That don't stop me. I just think about it and keep going.
I don't eat like a ton of it, but it's hard not to. Like, I love food. Like, that is, I can't be allergic to anything. I like food. I like donuts. I like cake. I like bread. I like, what is that? Brioche. Brioche is my favorite bread. Ooh, yes. Or like at a restaurant when they give you like some butter and salt and bread, like, how can you say no?
Girl, I sprinkle sea salt on my butter at home and do that. You leave some butter out, I'm ratchet. I sprinkle some sea salt and I take my knife and get to going.
Yeah, that I literally sometimes, who is that? Oh, I eat toast just for the butter too. So like bread and butter combo is like, my butter ratio is like so big compared to the bread. That's probably why I like grilled cheese so much, because it's like so much butter. And my other favorite thing, cheese, like just all comforting all together in one little delicious bite.
It is. Well, that brings me to my next question, because Chefleen is adorable and she looks like she's in amazing shape. So how do you do it?
I honestly don't eat that much. My fiance might call me a liar on this because he says I'm always hungry. But I do also really value fitness. It's something that has been ingrained in my life since I was little. I was a swimmer for 12 years, like a really competitive swimmer. And actually in my early 20s, I kind of struggled because I had been swimming like almost 8 hours a day, literally, like in high school, because I swam and I played water polo. So I would have like 4 different in-water practices like during seasons. And so I was like one little tiny muscle when I went to college. And then I went to college, I stopped playing any sports. I kind of ballooned. I had a little bit more than the freshman 15. Also, I had like the whole cafeteria all the time and late night, all kinds of things.
And you were probably used to eating a lot to maintain all of the calories you were burning. And when you weren't doing that anymore.
For sure. Cause I would before practice sometimes, or in between practices, I could eat like 2 burgers, 3 quesadillas, like 2 apples. I could eat so, like, the amount I would eat was insane.
That's just me high.
Yeah, I would eat like a high person in high
Yeah.
school. But so then in my 20s, I kind of like had to figure out how to get back on track because I wasn't expending all those calories anymore,
Yeah.
exercising. And so I found myself in LA. I had a very stable schedule, so I was like in the gym basically almost every single day after work. I used to work like 6 to 3, so 3 to 4 I'd be in the gym. I had a very regimented schedule in LA. I watched Intervention on Mondays, like I had all my different shows. And I only went out on Fridays and Saturdays. But then again, I moved to New York and everything just like the city just took over my life. So I had another time where I had to like put fitness first.
Yeah.
And I actually developed, so when I really felt like I was getting super out of shape, I tricked all my friends into joining a challenge so I would be more motivated to work out.
Yes, girl.
So we all put money in a pot and we measured ourselves before and after. We took pictures and we had some trainers like judge us at the end. So that was like the beginning of me like getting back into shape.
Wait, hold on, girl. You manipulated your friends into joining a challenge so that you could fix your life.
Basically, I needed some support.
I love you.
But I did it 2 years in a row because everyone really liked the challenge. And people had amazing results. Like my results, I won 1 year, but another year, like people had like sick, like washboard abs. I was like, what is happening?
You know what? If you want to do that in 2020, put me on the list, girl. I'd be down.
That's what they're like, come on, Kathleen, like do another one. I'm like, do you guys know how much work that was? Like I was sending weekly emails. I would have little gatherings. I would like do little group workouts. It was fun.
Well, you don't have to do that now because we can't get together. Okay.
Just send out the motivational emails.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was like the beginning. And now I just really try to maintain and be aware of what I'm eating. Like certain days I'll be like, I haven't eaten a vegetable. I should probably make a salad or, just thinking about what you're putting in your body.
Okay. Keeping on this same theme, me and Kiana talked about this. I have very strong opinions about it. She actually brought up your name. Well, she didn't bring up your name. She said, I have a friend who's a chef, but I already knew who she was talking about. Do breadcrumbs belong on mac and cheese? And I'd love to know because is your mom white?
My mom is white.
I would love to know what you think. You're a chef, your mom's white, your dad's black. You have all of these different points of view. Do breadcrumbs belong on mac and cheese? This is going to be like the final verdict.
I would say no.
Yes, I knew it.
I would say no. Like, I get it. They add texture.
Yes.
But for me, mac and cheese is you're not eating mac and cheese for the texture. You're eating it for the cheese. It's more important the kinds of cheeses you put inside your mac and cheese and those little breadcrumbs on top.
You know what? I love you so much more, girl, because I agree. And it is for texture. And I said, white people love texture. I get it. Texture is important, but not right now.
But it's interesting because I will say, I hope I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. White people love texture, but they'll trade texture over flavor. Whereas I would say black people, it's all about flavor, way more than texture.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%. Yeah, I think nobody can argue that. I agree with that. That's facts right there, girl. What? Okay, well, the last thing I'm going to ask you, which I think is super important, but I'm a comedian, and like comedy, cooking is strangely male dominated. And I say strangely because women have been cooking and have been head of that part of the house for centuries. But how do you tackle the misconception that men are better cooks?
So this actually kind of ties back to like the whole confidence thing we were talking about at the beginning, because it's always shown to us like on TV, in magazines, in write-ups, like it's always men are doing all these amazing things in the food world.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing that all the time, you have to be able to tell yourself like, I am good enough. I am just as good as them. I'm better than them. Like, and the first time I went on Chopped, you have to go to this like creepy, like sketchy McDonald's, like, and then they walk you to the studio. So my fiance was dropping me off at the thing, and I looked inside the McDonald's and I was like, they look like real chefs. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, you are a real chef and like, stop it. And so that also with the confidence thing, surrounding yourself with good people, like he was there to back me up and be like, no, stop it. Like whatever doubts you have in your mind, like you are a real chef.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's that. Like it's hard. And men have such, I mean, I'm sure you know, huge egos.
Whew,
like
you have.
Actually, on the last Chop Champions when I was on, when the man touched my plate and I was like I didn't actually need that. And looking back, I kind of wish I had like sort of dogged him out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was trying to be, diplomatic and nice and kind. But I was like, why did you touch my things? Like, literally both of us said we didn't need help. Like, don't. It's okay.
The disrespect.
My friend was like, he should have been disqualified because he ruined your dish. Like, who knows what he put in it to ruin your dish?
True. It could have been either mental manipulation, like what did he do? That would have freaked me out. Or he could have been trying to sabotage you, girl.
For sure. Or, he could have just been a kind man, like you said. But I feel like men get that pass all the time. Like, oh, I was just helping someone. Like, no, I didn't need it. Thanks.
Exactly. The thing about men, and I struggle with this with my husband. He is extremely confident, right? And sometimes when I doubt myself, he's like, I don't understand why you're doubting yourself. Like, there's no reason to doubt yourself right now. Like, I'm like, I'm sorry, women don't automatically think that they're the shit like men do. We just simply don't.
I also don't think that all men actually really think they are the shit. I think they're just so used to having to be the shit. Like, even when you're like a little kid, right? Boys aren't allowed to cry. So you just learn how to be like, well, fuck it. No matter how I feel, I'm going to act this way, even though like inside I don't actually feel that way. Whereas like as girls are like, oh, boo-hoo, they're like, oh, baby, come here. Like, so it's just like, we're a little more coddled in that.
Yeah. We're always told, express yourself. And men are told, no, be quiet and just do this, So
then it's easier for them because maybe, like we're saying we don't feel confident. We're just expressing ourselves.
And it doesn't mean like, I think that we also have to get the point across that just because I'm not feeling confident in this moment doesn't mean that I'm not a confident person. It doesn't mean I have low self-esteem. It doesn't mean I feel bad about myself. It's just right now I'm having a moment. And once I get past it, I will be good. But let me just have my moment right now.
And that's so important to be able to feel whatever you feel in the moment that you're feeling it. Like, it's okay to feel that way sometimes, as long as you get yourself together to go in that. Because, like, even going on Chopped, I was so scared. Like, I saw the men, I was like, oh my God, like, ah. But then because I had the knowledge of cooking and I love cooking, once I started the competition, I was like, oh, like, this is easy. Like, not easy, but like, I got this,
Yes. Oh, this is such a good conversation. Y'all, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some trending topics. We're going to talk about New York and your experience in NYC since COVID-19. We're going to talk about a man with way too much ego and stuff like that. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk more with Chefleen. Welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Chefleen. Okay, Chefleen, girl, you live in New York. Your governor is a gangster. That's number one. But I'd love to know, how has your COVID-19 experience been in New York, and have you seen the city come together? Or have you seen changes in the city in any way?
So living in New York has been really interesting because, especially at the beginning of this, like people that I hadn't heard from in like years called me and were like, are you okay? Because the news is showing it like so horribly.
Yeah.
Which, not to say that it isn't, like those things are actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
But in my little space, nothing has changed so much except for like, we can't go out, we can't hang out. Going to the grocery store is like super, super annoying now.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you have to wait outside because they're only letting a certain amount of people inside. Sometimes like the things aren't there. Although now it seems like the grocery stores are catching up and things are more in supply than they were at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like our true happiness came last week when we got a Costco order delivered. We were like, what? We have toilet paper, we have bacon, we have butter. Like, we are living life. But It's been interesting to see, like, I mean, there's definitely less people outside. The weather's starting to warm up, so people are starting to venture out a little.
We saw y'all at the park.
Oh yeah, in the West Village. Yeah, that was insane to me because I don't know, like there's so many conflicting stories. Supposedly like downtown was doing better than uptown of being outside, but that looked like a hot mess. Like all those people just outside with no masks.
Yeah.
I think the governor is doing a great job. Early on I learned not to watch like the national news because it just made you confused and upset.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate him for being straight with the facts. Like I get you don't want to scare people, but at the same time we need to be informed. Like we have to know what's happening because there's already so much uncertainty. Like we need anything we can know, we should be able to know. And I appreciate Governor Cuomo for doing that. One cool thing that happens, I mean, every night at 7:00, like our neighborhood, like everyone is cheering, people play instruments, like that's really cool because as the days begin to blend together, at least every day at 7:00, we know it's 7:00 because everyone's cheering.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing now, especially because they're starting to show like the differences between how the different races are being treated when it comes to policing about masks and things.
Right.
And I know they're starting to get on de Blasio, the mayor, about that, but I hope that some change comes about. I really think like they said everyone needs a mask. You should just get a fine. Like people should be walking around with tickets and give out like here's your $10 fine or however, like hopefully just $10.
Yeah.
Because it's been like a month that they've been telling, well, a few, like 3 weeks, they've told us that masks are mandatory. So I don't understand why anyone should be outside without a mask. Like it should, and it doesn't matter what color you are. Like it doesn't matter. Like that is the rule. So they literally should just have police walking around like, here's a ticket, here's a ticket, here's a ticket. Yeah. And that would encourage everyone. And it doesn't have to be like there's a video I saw yesterday that was so disturbing that they had like pushed down a kid. Like, I'm like, that was just totally unnecessary. Yeah. But I mean, that's getting really deep and depressing. So I don't want to go there.
I feel you. I think it should be just like you said. It should be a fine. I'm not going to lie. I walked my dog today. I got all the way around the block before I realized I didn't have my mask on.
Yeah, it's hard to remember. You have to, yeah.
They're by the door, but, you know, I was on my phone. But if you happen to catch yourself in a position to where you forget and you get a little $10 fine, you won't forget again. And you being at the park chilling with no mask, I mean, I think it would have been okay for me if no other people were around, but y'all were in packs. Like, what are y'all doing? You know?
Groups of people.
Yeah.
And I get like everyone's getting antsy. Like we're social people. It's definitely hard to have the same connection over like internet and Zoom. It's like so much energy you're expending when you're in like over Zoom than rather than like in the park or whatever.
Yeah.
But we just have to like, I don't know. It's really showing our true colors of humanity, and they're not the brightest at the moment.
At all. It's very American of us to be like, it's hot outside. Now we done. It's like, what? We know it's hot, but that doesn't mean we're done with fighting COVID. Like, y'all can just chill out.
For sure.
Well, listen, by the time people hear this, Mother's Day will have passed. So I have a few questions for you about Mother's Day. The first one is inspired by the Shade Room. I saw this on, that's where I get my news, girl. I saw this on the Shade Room and I thought, you know, this would be a good question to ask Chefleen because she's engaged, I'm married. If your man has or had a baby with someone else, do you think it would be appropriate for him to get his baby mother a gift? And if so, what would be acceptable and what would be unacceptable?
I think it's acceptable to get the mother of your child a gift for Mother's Day.
You see how she said mother of your child? Because she classy.
Your baby mama, whatever you want to call her. Because I do believe that for the good of the child, it's very important for the parents to have some sort of amiable relationship. And that just shows like you respect. It's important that your child knows that you respect his mother or her mother.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way. Now, like some flowers, cool, a card, nice. I don't know, like what else. I mean, maybe if they, I don't know, don't know laundry, like nothing crazy, like sexy mama laundry, no.
Yeah.
Depending on like, I would, if I would feel a way if maybe our financial position wasn't so great and he spent a ton of money or something like that. I would maybe feel a way about that. Yeah, like a small gesture. It doesn't have to be overthought. I'm a huge fan of flowers, so flowers I think are a perfect gift for Mother's Day for your baby mama or mother of your child.
Mother of your child. What, see, I don't know about flowers. When I suggested a gift, I said, like a spa day would be great. Like, oh, I'm going to take our kid a spa day, a gift card. I feel like if my husband got his baby mama some red roses, I'd be like, what's going on?
I'm like romance.
Yeah, I'm like, she could have got an orchid. She could have got some sunflowers.
The $12 flowers from Ralph's, like,
Okay, I was
like the colorful combination flowers. It's just a gesture, it's not like, I don't know, nothing crazy.
Nothing.
And the spa day is a great idea because it's showing like, you appreciate her time, she's working, because most of the time the mom has a kid a lot more than the father.
Yes.
So, it's not that a gift of relaxation would be amazing as well.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Is there anything in particular that what I was going to ask, is there anything in particular that you would cook your mom for Mother's Day, or something that your mom really likes? If you could cook her whatever she wanted, like what would it be?
My mom is a pretty, like, she likes everything. She really likes vegetables. She doesn't like, the only things she doesn't like are goat cheese and dill. And I always try to sneak them in there because I'm like, Mom, why don't you like them? Like, because I grew up not eating those things because she didn't like them. And now I'm like, these things are delicious. Like, what did you deprived me? But normally like some sort of like seafood dish. And then I normally make like a really cool cake. Like I think last year I made an orange cake with like candied oranges. I've made like a flourless chocolate cake. My mom is pretty, I'm not even pretty. She's very easygoing, and she just like really appreciates anything. And I feel like even when I'm home now, because I'm in New York and she's in California, she really just appreciates the time. Like she can kind of care less about what I'm cooking. We could probably order in, but I like to still cook for her.
Yeah, my mom's really happy with anything. She's really like one of the sweetest women I've ever met in my whole life, but also shady. I don't know how that works. A steak would probably be her food of choice. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Okay, the last trending topic. I'm so glad you sent this to me because I definitely think it's worth talking about. I saved it for last. Whew, okay, this just raises my blood pressure. I'm not going to say the guy's name because I don't want to give him any clout, like, at all.
No recognition.
But there was a guy whose Instagram post went viral, a black guy. And it's also kind of significant for us because we're two women of color, married or engaged to and married to black kings.
Yes.
And let me just read a little bit of his Instagram post that went viral for y'all so y'all can get an idea of who this person is. This person said, "Now that I'm JD'd, bar number loading, I've entered into a new arena of black men. And in this arena, I'm the prize now. Don't just take my word for it, though. And before you kill me in the comments, let me drop some stats for your ass right quick so you can see my point. Number 1, this is his first stat. Black women outnumber black men by 2 million. Black women don't want to deal with black men who's gay, down low, has baby mama issues, or has a felony/conviction record / in jail, which collectively is a large percentage of our race, unfortunately, as statistically 37% of black men are in jail, while 1/3 of black men have some form of criminal record. Black women typically don't want to date down and prefer to have a black man that is on the same playing field as her or higher. Well, statistically, only 7% of black men are professionals." And he goes on to talk about how we should settle for his raggedy ass. And not only settle for him, but praise him because he passed or finished law school, but hadn't even passed the bar yet.
This guy, I stopped reading after he had said the thing about homosexuals and gay. I was like, first of all, a homosexual doesn't want a woman either. So what is the point of saying that? I was like, what? Who are you?
First of all, this made me so annoyed because I'm like, are there young Black men who still think like this?
Clearly, yes.
I can't believe that. You go to school and you get an education and now you say that you are the prize? First of all, when you're with somebody, I think both of y'all are the prize. Like, you lucky to have each other. That's number one. Number two, I actually don't really honestly know what he was trying to say, because statistically Black women are more educated than Black men. And whoever we decide to date, it's because we see potential in whoever we date and the ability for us to make a good connection. So I don't really, it just confuses me.
What he said was just so problematic. Like, and it just feeds into this whole societal, like, stereotype. Like, it's putting all these things on Black women that not all Black women are. Like, we need all these different things to check boxes. Like, no, we don't. Like, I feel like it's really about, like, finding your person that makes you happy and you get along with and that supports you and is not looking. I mean, yes, I look at Chris as a prize, but not in the form of, like, I am below him. Like, we are equal in this.
Right.
Like you said, we are both the prize and we both work to make each other happy. Like, I'm not bowing down at his feet necessarily.
Right.
Because he has an education. He has 2 degrees. Like, no.
When it comes to any relationship and making it successful, it's all about putting your ego aside. And if you cannot put your ego aside to really connect with somebody, then you won't connect with anyone, no matter what color they are, unless they care about the fact that you are a lawyer and they put those things first. Like, if they value those things more than they value you as a person, that's the only reason you're going to get that girl. If you have this huge ego, like, what?
And that is not key to long, successful partnership or marriage or whatever you're trying to do, because one day the person that really appreciated your ego is going to be like, wait a minute.
You get on my nerves.
Yeah. And the fact that the other thing that really is, like, just mind-boggling, like, how long did it take him to write that post? Like, it is, like, paragraphs upon paragraphs. Like, he really thought in his mind this was a good idea to write, like, all of that. Like, you couldn't just be like, I got my JD, yay. Like, the first sentence was fine. Like, JD or whatever he said, something bar loading or whatever.
You know, he didn't write this on Instagram, right? So if you didn't write this on Instagram and you copied and pasted, at least use periods, at least use commas. Like, you did all this to get this degree and you're still not using the right grammatical, like, structure. Come on now.
Yeah, there's just so many things wrong with it. There is so many comments dragging him, which I get. But also at the same time, I did kind of feel sorry for him. I'm like, I wonder if he really knew. But he had to know, because he even says it. Like, I know people in the comments might go crazy or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just...
Girl, when I saw even the screenshot you sent me doesn't have a photo. So I was like, he better be...
How did you get into that?
He better be fine. He better be 6'6". He better have green eyes and be chocolate skinned. He better be 1 in a million, girl. Exotica. I look at him, girl. He looked a mess. He's 5'4". He tries to have Odell Beckham's blonde curly hair at the top. Get your life together. Get your razor bumps together before you try to come for us.
Yeah, I did. So the shot that I sent you was the first thing I saw. So of course, me being nosy, I had to go look him up too. And I was like, what?
What? What's going on? Oh my goodness. And can I just add that my dad has been to jail and he's a great father. Now, he's never been to prison, but he's been arrested like a lot of Black men are arrested for whatever. He grew up in the 60s.
Some were literally arrested for nothing.
Thank you. He's been with my mom for almost 40 years. And when he met her, she had 2 children. He's a great dad. My brother has been to jail. He probably wouldn't even want me to say that, but for no reason, because we grew up middle class and he had no reason to do that. But guess what?
Testing. testing the waters.
Rebelling. But he's a father of 3. He's been at the same job for 12 years. He's a great guy. So don't write off our men because they have done something that they should not have in the past or have been arrested or have a record. Let's not write off our men for that, because a lot of them are great fathers, great husbands, great uncles and everything. So I just say that to say, you can just chill out because you don't have a record. That doesn't make you better than some of the great men that I know who respect their Black queens.
For sure. Yeah, and he's feeding into the whole society, like the whole white society gaze on us too. Like, can we not hate on our own selves amongst ourselves?
That is a fact. Girl, okay. Well, let's take a break. But before we do, please tell us what you're sipping on, because, okay, we're meeting. It's 11 o'clock my time, 2 o'clock her time. I told her I like to drink during these, but I just couldn't because it was 11.
You could have had some Prosecco.
I didn't have any.
So I am drinking a peach margarita because it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm very excited about this peach margarita. It's frozen peaches, some Casamigos, my favorite tequila, and some lemon juice just blended in a blender.
And you have a gold straw.
Yeah, and I have the cactus glasses. This was like my first purchase when Chris and I moved in together. I had wanted to since I was like a little kid.
What did he say about that? Cute.
Yeah, he wasn't like everything I bring in the house. He was like, cool.
Cool.
I'm like, look, aren't you so cool? He's like, yeah.
Well, keep sipping your margarita. When we come back, we're going to give advice to somebody who hit me up on TikTok and asked for advice on how to find their purpose in life. We'll get right to it when we come back. Hey y'all, welcome back. We are now in the Keep It Real corner. This is where we give advice to one of my listeners, so you can hit me up on TikTok, Instagram DMs, or even on my YouTube channel for advice on anything in life. This person says, they hit me up on TikTok, by the way, they DM'd me. And they said, I feel so lost in life and the quarantine has not helped. I don't know what I want to do professionally. How did you figure out your passion in life? I need help deciding what I would like to do. Thank you. I thought this was a really good question because, you know, I quit my job to pursue comedy. You are a chef and you're doing something creative. And because you're doing something creative, I do consider it art. I'd love to know, how did you find out that that's what you wanted to do, especially after being into sports for most of your life as a teenager?
So I would say, I actually went to UC Berkeley because I wanted to I always loved cooking my whole life. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go to culinary school after high school, but my mom was like, no, because as any parent does, like, you know, they're worried about your future stability. And when you say I want to be a chef, they're like, yeah, what, huh? That's not a good life. Yeah. So I went to UC Berkeley. I'm not upset about that at all. Like, it was a great development period of life socially. Classes, not so much. I ended up just getting a degree just to graduate, a degree in mass communications. I thought I wanted to be a newscaster, but
Fun fact, that's what I went to school for.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I realized I didn't like the news. So I was like, why would I do this? So I graduated in the 2009 recession, which is, I mean, it's not the same as quarantine, but it was a time where just like literally the 7 months that I was back at home after school, I felt super lost. Like, I'm like, I have a degree. I can't get a job like in my field. Not that I even was really trying that hard because I didn't really want to. Yeah. And I couldn't even get a job at Olive Garden because they would look at my resume and they're like, well, you went to UC Berkeley. Like, you're going to quit in 2 weeks once you get a better job. So I'm like, but money, I need money.
But money.
Anyway, so I was like really lost, like at a point, and I was back at my parents' house and my parents are super strict. And you would think since I was gone for 4 years, they would be like less strict. No, there were still like curfews and just like my parents were really strict. It was crazy.
Girl, your parents were wild and trying to give you a curfew at what, 23 years old?
No, I was still 21. I graduated like kind of early-ish. I sort of.
Okay, my bad. It took me 5 years to graduate. Keep going.
But yeah, I graduated. I was back at home. I was looking for jobs on Craigslist, Like I had a job where I was trying to go store to store to like liquor stores and sell them ATM machines. And after the third one I walked into, I was like, this is not the life for me. Like I was literally, just as your viewer or your listener wrote to you, I was lost, like legit lost in life. Like what? I was back in Moreno Valley. Like for those of you who don't know, it's like not LA, it's nowhere. It's like, what am I doing back here? I had no freedom. Like I don't know. So then a few friends were like, well, you've always liked to cook. Like, why don't you go to culinary school? I was like, well, I'm not doing anything else. So I decided to sign up for culinary school, which was in LA. I went to culinary school for like 7 months and graduated. And right when I graduated from, I loved every moment of culinary school. Like I low-key lived out of my car because I didn't go back and forth to Moreno Valley every time because it was so much traffic and so much driving. So I would like stay at friends' houses. I would like, sometimes when people weren't home, I would like shower at the gym. That's actually how Kiana and I became really good friends, because I literally met Kiana and I was like, oh, you live in LA? Oh, you live in Inglewood? Oh, do you mind if I sleep on your couch tonight?
And you know what? This is one of those examples. I'm so glad you said that, because when you just love something, you'll do stuff that you wouldn't even think that you would have done before just to get it done.
For sure. Like I would go to class at 6 a.m. I never was late to a class except for the day after my 22nd birthday. And literally right when I finished culinary school, I had this job at Warner Brothers, like working one of those like studio cafeterias, kind of not a great job, but I applied for the job on Craigslist. Craigslist is my best friend besides that ATM machine job. But I applied for a kitchen assistant at a high profile household. And I was like, I don't really like qualify for this, but I'm going to apply anyway. And I applied and I had an interview, had no idea who it was for. And then they called me back like 2 weeks later, and it ended up being the house of Will and Jada Smith. And I was like, so I feel like it takes a while to like push yourself to get to like, it took 7 months for me to be like, I should go to culinary school. Then I went to culinary school and I was like, it was hard, but I was like I loved culinary school, so it was great. And then right when that ended, it was like the world, God rewarded me for like following this dream. And I will say, I always knew I wanted to cook, but I just had never been in the position where I was just like, I'm just going to do it. And so once you start doing what you want, that's when things just start aligning, like for real. Like, and that's how I feel about my whole culinary career, because the Smiths was super stable, like not 8-hour days, like regular salary, insurance. Then I left, well, long story about that, but I left them. I worked at a restaurant, hated working at a restaurant, worked at a rehab house, got fired from the rehab house for no reason. Like 2013 is a whole nother podcast. For no reason. And then that's when I was like, I'm going to move to New York. And I moved to New York with nothing. And I moved in February. And by April, I had my first private client who I still work for to this day. So it's like, literally, if you just take that leap of faith, and I know it sounds so cliche and so scary and almost like just oversaid, but literally once you start trusting yourself, things just start happening, like for real.
I truly believe that. And not only did I teach, I don't even know if I taught myself that. I learned that in therapy. Trust yourself. That's the one thing that I have to work to do every day is just trust yourself. Trust yourself. But the fact that you didn't just take one leap of faith, you took so many in that story, that's super inspiring. And I hope the person that wrote in is inspired. The one thing that I will say, and as I prepare myself to possibly one day have kids, is the thing that you love doing your whole life is probably like one of the things that you should pursue in general. So I think for me, it's really important that one day when I have kids to pay attention to what they like, because that will fuel them forever. The fact that you always like to cook, the fact that, I mean, for me, it was a journey too, but I was nominated for most witty in high school. And I always like to, and broadcast communications, like being on camera. Of course, not the news, honey, because I make too many faces to be on the news now that I think about it.
I can imagine.
Can you imagine me on the news? It's like, who robbed what store? It'd be like hood news. But, just those little hints to the things that you really love doing, or the things that you would risk sleeping on somebody's couch to do.
That's the thing. It's like, you like doing it so much that you're going to make it happen because you're willing to make the sacrifices. You're willing to do the things it takes. Like, I wasn't waiting for anyone to hand me anything. Like, literally, when I moved to New York, every person I would meet at a bar, on the street, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on TV someday. I'm a chef. And if you know anyone that needs a private chef, let me know. Like, literally everyone. And then eventually, I've become who I am. And there's still more things to be done. But yeah, like, you will make it happen once you know what you want to do.
Yeah. So figure out, what it is that you've been doing that brings you that happiness. So do you want to have your own cooking show one day?
I do. That is like my really goal, my like lofty big goal. And it's because like I grew up watching a lot of Food Network right when it first started, when it was like actual real chefs on there. And they really
shade. Don't shade.
But even still today, I mean, back then there was like no diversity. There was absolutely no one that looked like me that was cooking like me.
Yeah.
So, and now there's people that look like me, but most of them are like celebrities or already have some sort of platform, or they're cooking a lot. Well, most, I would say, Black people on TV that are in culinary are cooking like in a Southern way, which is not the only way Black people eat. Like, there's so much diversity.
It's not. Them. No, I'm just playing.
Eating collards and fried chicken every single day. Like, I love those things, but I eat other things too.
No, you know what? Actually, a lot of Black people that I know have very sophisticated palates. We love Asian food. We love Indian food. We love all different types of food from different backgrounds. Like, yeah.
We don't need to smother everything in sauce. Not to say, like, we do like those things, but we are open and want to learn other things and taste other things and experience it. We're human. Like, literally, we're human. Our skin happens to be more colored.
Yeah, and we just happen to be, sometimes more athletic and smarter.
And flyer and bossier and all these other
things. A little attitude.
Funnier, just basically everything better.
Y'all know we playing, but we not. Well, listen, Chefleen, I love you so much. I'm going to take one of your cooking classes soon. Go to chefleen.com for more information on those classes. I'd love to know, what are you working on right now? How are you keeping sane, or how are you keeping busy, or keeping your cooking skills like top of the game now that you're at home?
So yeah, I do. I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of quarantine was like so sad for me, because I'm like just thinking of all the money I'm missing out not being in people's houses and cooking as a private chef. But my true passion is teaching people how to cook, and this media presence that I like to have, and inspiring people in this way. So actually, the quarantine has been a positive for me, because I started my whole virtual online cooking classes. So I have like public classes where you can cook with strangers. They're limited to 10 people, because I want you to really learn and walk away with some education and knowledge. And I have private classes where you can like rent me out for 2 hours, and you can do a cooking class with like 10 to 20 of your friends. And we do things of that nature. And I just do it right here in my kitchen. Things are customizable. And that's been really fun. And what I really like about teaching is that it keeps me on my toes. Like, I have to research before every class, because I don't want to be telling anyone the wrong information. Like, I really want you to know the facts. So that's been like my major project setting, because I do everything myself. I had to set up my whole website. Like, it's been a lot. But then I also still do real life cooking on Sundays, which is totally free on Instagram Live. I've been having some really cool guests. Some of because Chris, my fiance, is a sports agent, NFL agent. So I've had some of his clients on recently,
saw that.
which has been fun. And what else I've been doing? Those are my two major things. And I've even been doing some small local catering. Like, I did this girl turned 30 on her 30th birth, or 30 on April 30th. Okay. She hired me to make her like a little private dinner, and she lived like up the block. So it wasn't like I was doing too much. But yeah, I've been keeping myself busy. And then like for sanity, I've been working out and meditating and watching a lot of Netflix.
Yes. All the things I love to do too. Well, I don't love to work out and meditate, but I do it for my own mental
Meditation
health.
Is really powerful. Like, even just 5 minutes a day makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah. Well, listen, I loved having you on. I was on one of your live cooking shows. You had me on, when was that? Like late last year?
Oh, like in November. It was right around my birthday, yeah.
Right. Yeah, when you came to LA.
What did we make again? Oh, we made the vegan shepherd's pie.
We made vegan shepherd's pie. I never had shepherd's pie before. It was so good. I think about it every month. I even went back once to the recording to figure out how do we saute those mushrooms all the way down like that. But when I tried to do it by myself, girl, they weren't even as good. They were good, but yours were just perfectly seasoned or something like that. I'm still working on how to get those mushrooms like sauteed all the way down and crispy how yours were.
Yeah, you just more practice. Just keep sauteing mushrooms.
Just keep sauteing them. And then, you know, we had margaritas one night at a tiny bar, and that was amazing as well. So
yeah, that was fun.
Chefleen, I love her. She's really like this. She's really funny, sweet, very talented. That's the end of our podcast, y'all. Rate, review, and subscribe on the platform that you're listening to right now. And if you loved Colored Couch Conversations, make sure to tell someone else about the show. Don't be selfish. You can follow us on Instagram at Colored Couch Conversations and watch the show on my YouTube. That's comedian Jazmyn W on YouTube, spelled Jazmyn. Thank y'all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.